Listen, anytime, any place, anywhere, I'll fight you in your back garden. Like a dumb Klitschko, I'll beat you, you bum. You're a bum.
I want to unify. Is he up for the challenge? Like I said, I declare war. You know, this is not a battle, this is war because I was bored of this.
Why am I sitting there like a spare dick in a way? While you are sitting in your mum's spare rooms, just tickling your bollocks.
Come and see me, baby. No more hiding, no more ducking, no more dodging, no more excuses. Let's make the fight happen. Let's see who's the best. I know I'm the best. Are you up for the test?
I'm through. They put somebody else up and give me an interview. What are you talking about? You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing. You ain't shit. You're not shit. I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
Negative. I'm good. I beat Polly. I left with his belt and his girl.
Fucking was too fast. But it wasn't so much about, it was just that he was so fucking fast. Fast.
Amazingly fast.
Fucking amazingly fast. I was like, I thought Freddie was in there fucking hitting me too. So.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes. What is up? MCR family, another daily edition of the show live on YouTube, obviously podcast form, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, etc. I'm Matt, the hipster hunter, and of course joined as usual on these shows, Mr. Robbie Hearns himself. Rob over there, second cousin, twice removed of Sir Eddie. Rob, man, how you doing, man?
Yeah, good. Just having a little back and forth with Gary in the chat.
Yeah, sorry that you got a little trim there on your beard. I like it.
Oh, yeah, why not?
You look more like Jason Statham. Just go full bald and you're good, man.
Yeah, it's the same body, but just different hair at the moment.
Yeah, same exact body, exactly.
Working on it.
But obviously, we're going to be talking all things boxing today. Wilder Fury 2 rematch, sort of now being talked about as a Fox pay-per-view. Showtime's not happy about that one, probably. Triple G now linking up with Eddie Hearn in some sort of deal. What? Weird. And apparently we are having some blog talk issues as well. So Skype Mixed Combat Radio, if that will be easier for you. But moving on, tons of stuff to get to, tons of topics. Also fights coming up this weekend. We're going to break down today as well. We're not going to save it till like Tuesday or Wednesday to break it down. We're going to break it down today on Monday. So Kovalev, Yard. Actually, we have a ton of fights this weekend. Like the Estrada card on DAZN is this weekend, and that kind of snuck up on everyone, I feel like. This entire weekend snuck up on people. Kosei Tanaka is fighting this weekend. Vic Saluda is fighting this weekend. A lot of people across the board. Most of these cards are either on like Fight Pass, DAZN, or maybe even off TV, unfortunately. We also have a Showtime card this weekend with a lot of prospects on it. Just a lot to get to. Brandon Figueroa, as Gary reminds me in the chat. Yes, don't worry, Gary. He's in the docket. Just a lot of fights this weekend to break down. We're going to break it down today as well. So hit the like button, share the show, subscribe, patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio. Rob, let's get to the news. Let's not waste any more time. Mike Coppinger coming out saying Deontay Wilder's rematch with Luis Ortiz must take place by the end of November, according to the contract the champ signed for his rematch with Tyson Fury. Industry sources tell The Athletic Wilder Fury 2 will be a joint ESPN and Fox pay-per-view and is slated for February 22nd. Now, the date I think is not important because I think, as me and Rob have said numerous times, I think that date will be moved back, but that probably doesn't matter, and that's not the topic of discussion I think that needs to be had. It is Fox pay-per-view. Like, it's now being attached to the Fox network and not Showtime. And Deontay Wilder, though having fought on Fox before, having fought on other networks before when PBC had the real rampant in 2015 and 16 where they just put a bunch of fights all over the place on ESPN, NBC, Fox, CBS, everywhere, right? Spike TV even. Like, they had fights all over the map. So it isn't a new thing, but it is seemingly shocking when we have been hearing for a long time now that, especially from Steven Espinoza, and we talked a little bit about this yesterday, Rob, which is funny that this is now coming up the next day, that Espinoza was the loudest one saying loyalty, that Deontay Wilder would not leave Showtime. He would not go to DAZN, ESPN, any other network. Why? Because of loyalty. And I mentioned, well, we always heard that from Showtime. Wilder was kind of, yeah, of course, Showtime was great, but he's a fighter. He's going to be nice. But PBC and Al Heyman, or Tim Smith even, obviously, never came out and said, yep, Wilder, loyalty, Showtime. And now the rematch of a Showtime pay-per-view, right, the thing that started the whole, I would argue, PBC run that they're on right now, right, Rob, of just successful events, numbers overall, sort of dominating the U.S. market in a way this year, the last 6-8 months. That started with a Wilder Fury Showtime pay-per-view card that surprisingly did well for two guys in their pay-per-view debuts, in a card that wasn't that stacked. Now he's going to Fox in the rematch. How upset should Showtime be? How upset do you think they're going to be with PBC, Deontay Wilder? Rob, go off, man. I bet you're like over there just laughing your ass off like Dr. Evil when you have a pet cat. You know, you're good.
Nah, I don't want the death of Showtime, but
quickly, Showtime boxing. Showtime is going to be around. Like,
you know what I mean? Yeah. The boxing show. Come on. But it's just, I don't know. It's just shown what trying to appease two networks, what difficulty that is when you've had such great service from Showtime, possibly in many people's opinion, the best production, the best analysts, the best announcers, basically like the best crew.
They had the gold standard for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people enjoy what's his name? Rano Moralo.
Maranello.
Yeah, that way around.
You were really close.
I know, it's like red lorry, yellow lorry. It's really
the only commentator to do the highest level of every combat sport in the world. Yeah,
for sure. And obviously, whatever people want to think of him, but Paulie usually breaks down fights pretty good. I
love Al Bernstein. Great person on Twitter too. Really objective person.
Yeah, so it's a good team and everything, but Fox has come along with the bigger viewership, many more eyeballs on the sport, many more better for fighters to get that exposure. Seem to give greater push and promotion to fights. I know Showtime have got the 24/7 thing. I mean, it'd be interesting is, do Fox do a 24/7 kind of thing?
Oh, I think they go full out with the Wilder Fury card.
Yeah, I know they do a lot of
like we thought Spence Mikey promo was like almost like egregious. It was that much. This is going to get insane.
That was a lot of just side programming, as in like studio stuff, right?
And think about this. This is going to be right after, in theory, the Super Bowl. So this is going to have a 8 to 12 week promo run of the playoff NFL season. Okay, like it will. I'm really curious to see the increase in viewership, or I should say pay-per-view buys, not viewership, pay-per-view buys with this, because it will be the first time we can probably really compare Fox pay-per-view. And,
it feels like a big fight, this one.
Yeah, a Fox pay-per-view and a Showtime pay-per-view, and then compare, okay, does the Fox promotion actually make a difference? Because we say that it made a difference for Spence Garcia, but Spence never had a pay-per-view on Showtime. You know what I mean? So like it's hard to really say that definitively. If this blows it out, if this is a 600,000 pay-per-view buy rate for a Wilder Fury 2, I think in large part that would be due to Fox. And that would even push PBC, I should say, farther and farther away from Showtime as their network and more to Fox is our future.
That's true, but Showtime could possibly say, but this fight wouldn't be as big if it hadn't been for the first one, which we put on.
No, of course. Do
you know what I mean? So it's going to be hard to maybe gauge, because we're not going to know that this would have done 600,000 on Showtime because it's anticipated. Do you know what I mean? Just that kind of point towards it. Look at me defending. Jesus.
I know. I'm shocked. But hey.
Even if nose is like, go on, Rob.
No, I understand. No, I like the devil's advocate because I know you don't really believe that. But I like that you're playing it. I don't think that's true. I think if we see a significant increase in pay-per-view buys for the rematch, it will in large part be to the difference in the brand, the difference in the network. I think it's impossible to
sheer exposure to the amount of people that it's available to. Like you say, the push through building up to Super Bowl will be huge. This will be everywhere. Everyone's going to be watching the playoffs and the build up to the Super Bowl. So it's going to get huge. And I think if this doesn't break 500,000, I'll be very surprised.
I think that's probably the barometer they're looking at.
Yeah.
I think
must be.
I think like 550 is the low end.
Start getting Tyson Fury talking his shit on Fox.
I'll be honest. The best thing would be is to, I don't know, because I was about to say the best thing would be if Fury doesn't have a December fight and he can just be in promo run for the Wilder fight for a good 6 months. However, if the last thing people see of Fury is him fighting Otto Whalen in September, and they don't have till February or March to see the Wilder fight, maybe that does hurt buys. So I don't know. Like, they're in a weird predicament with what Fury has decided to do in terms of matchmaking and how that might affect the rematch, because he has fight complete dog shit opponents, and on top of that, fought on ESPN Plus. And I'm not the one to really use that as a disparaging remark that, hey, DAZN, ESPN Plus, how no one's watching that. But if your entire move to ESPN was to, go to the ESPN audience and really branch yourself out to the U.S. audience, only fighting on ESPN Plus doesn't help that. Sorry. But digressing from this point, I think it is important that we talk about Wilder Ortiz, because it is now not official, but now we hear a network attached to Wilder Fury 2. And we have Wilder Ortiz 2 before it in November. Still no network attached to it that we know of.
Not yet.
Not yet. Thoughts on that? Like, do we think that the deal is made and they're just waiting on the Joshua situation to resolve itself so they can sort of, as all big fights do, sort of attach itself to the other thing that's happening?
Yeah, I mean, that's what Kenneth
Boyer. I think that's how he pronounces his last name.
He kind of suggested like that it's done. The fight's made. Everything's cool. They're just waiting to announce it. And he said we'll wait until Joshua Ruiz or Ruiz Joshua is settled. And I'm like, me being me, settled? What, you're going to wait till December 8th to announce the November 23rd fight? That's an interesting ploy.
Such a smart ass.
But yeah, I mean, look, I guess it makes kind of sense
so
to try and attach it to. But when is that fight going to get? I mean, it's been announced, but it appears it's kind of. I don't know.
Let's admit though that press conference was like a 80% announcement.
I don't know. They were all in. They were showing.
Eddie was all in.
Well, yeah.
That one Saudi guy was all in.
The press tour starts first week in September. If Andy Ruiz is there, I guess we get a fight. If he's not,
yeah, that's true. We do.
Maybe they did jump the gun, but
we have like 11 days till we know about that shit.
Yeah, that's going to be some sources say in the build up to that 11 days. Holy shit! But yeah, I don't know. If Wilder doesn't hurry up.
So quick answer: do you think that they do have the network sort of confirmed, and they're just waiting to announce it attached to Ruiz Joshua too? Yes or no?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. But Kenneth, who is PBC podcast guy, said basically said it's done. They're just waiting to announce or whatever.
Yeah,
so is the network attached? I don't know. Coppen just seemed to say there's still a back and forth as to is it going to be Fox? Is it going to be Showtime? Showtime are going to be, I don't know, hoping they get this one as well. Because if that's Wilder on Fox for Ortiz and Fox for Fury rematch, then I don't know where Showtime is at the moment now.
I'll be honest. Because you kind of hedged your bets. You played for Gotti over here, sitting on the fence, man. I think they don't have the network finalized for Wilder Ortiz too.
I think Kenneth was kind of protecting.
Yeah, but the fight is done. Like, I think we're getting the fight. but the network's not done. Those are two different things,
I mean,
right?
look, it's like Joshua Ruiz. It's like Eddie's saying it's done, it's here, it's there, but DAZN isn't attached yet.
And like the location, hey, who knows? I could see the location shifting in the next 2 weeks. I could see that happening. It would be shocking. It's a low possibility, but I could see it happening. I'll put it this way. There's a higher possibility of the location moving for that fight than it not being on DAZN.
Yeah, I think DAZN have got this.
You see, you know what I mean? But like DAZN still doesn't have it. The location is kind of set. But digressing from that, Wilder Ortiz 2 is a separate deal entirely from a Wilder Fury fight. So in my mind, this is how I'm thinking. Speculation. I don't have sources, but this is how I'm thinking. Wilder Fury working with Bob Arum, thinking that you're going to have to do a joint pay-per-view already. On top of that, it's a bigger fight. So I think Al Heyman and PBC are thinking, let's maximize this one. So let's make sure this one's on Fox, because that is the bigger network, it's the bigger brand than Showtime. Because this is the fight that will send us to really huge revenue, sort of
make the most money.
Yeah, it would make the most money. It would honestly generate the most income for PBC probably of any fight out there if it's on Fox, right?
Yep.
I think if it's on Showtime, you do hurt that slightly. But Wilder Ortiz 2, their problem with that is not necessarily connected to their thinking with Wilder Fury and wanting to maximize it. I think the problem with Wilder Ortiz 2 is, so it's going to surprise you, Rob, the budget. I'll be honest. I think a large part of that is due to the budget. I think they had to pay a lot in back end to Wilder in Brazil to put that fight on Showtime, because they knew they were going to get so much public backlash for that being on pay-per-view. They could not do that. They could not take the loss on it. This one, they're trying to figure out the economics, I think Showtime is, of putting it on pay-per-view, paying everyone what they need, and for the budget to work out to where they could still get Gervonta Davis this year. And especially if they're trying to get a Tevin Farmer fight, that's a huge money fight that they have to, again, try and work out the budget. So
knowing that DAZN have put $5 million on the table.
Yeah, I honestly think it's more of a budget issue than anything with Showtime in terms of their boxing budget, because God knows what the back end money looked like for Wilder Brazil, because it was a lot. Everyone said he got paid a lot in the back end. So I'm assuming he got paid a lot in the back end. And Showtime's budget for boxing was like rumored to be around, $60 million? So if you're blowing out $20 million, let's say, $15-20 million on one fighter in one fight, that doesn't include production costs, that doesn't include anyone else getting paid, including the announcers and commentators, not even including the other fighters on the card, right? You're spending almost half of your yearly budget on one card. And I think that's in large part, Rob, why the cards haven't been that great moving forward, why they haven't been able to really bid on a lot of these cards from PBC, because they blew out a bunch of their budget on the Wilder Brazil card, which I understand for them. It got them the best ratings of the year, but I think it was the short-term gain.
It's a short-term gain. Yeah, it's like almost...
If they were smart...
What cost has this cost them?
If they were smart, Showtime... I'm not going to be like if they're smart. They're smart people, but this was just a misstep. It was a huge misstep. They should have let Wilder Brazil go to Fox.
That should have been the one for me. Yeah.
They would have put that on Fox. It would have saved them tens of millions in the budget to where they could really beef up cards, get more cards throughout the year. On top of that, then get a bigger fight in a Wilder Ortiz 2 down the line, when now they may not get that one. So,
or the other one.
And it was funny. Somebody asked, I think it was the Aficionados podcast. I think somebody asked him, could Showtime and Fox do a joint pay-per-view? And he said, it's not probable, but it's a possibility. I wouldn't be surprised if Showtime actually kind of is modest or humble in the situation and goes, hey, Fox, you want to sort of do something here?
Please.
Please? Because I don't see them wanting to lose Wilder for a Wilder Fury fight and a Wilder Ortiz fight. That would be huge, because both of those first fights happen on Showtime.
Remember, we've been loyal, remember? We're loyal. I don't know. Yeah, I can't see that. But I mean, back to the
Quick question, because I love this. It's a merging of combat sports by disabled sports with Showtime's weak boxing schedule due to PBC's partnership with Fox. Do you think they go after Bellator to make up the lack of dates now that Viacom has merged with CBS? Viacom, the owner of Spike TV, now which was rebranded as Paramount Network in the U.S. Viacom now owns CBS in a huge giant merger. Shout out to Monopolies and Monopsonies. But Aficionados, talking about Aficionados, actually brought up that Bellator is arguably worth more in terms of, like, if you were to buy Bellator, they will probably ask for a higher value than Showtime Boxing if you were to compare the two. Because Showtime Boxing works off of, like, none of the fighters are on contract. They don't own the fight library, really. Like, there's a lot of things they don't own. Bellator owns everything. They own the fight library. They have the fighter contracts. So, in theory, that's even worth more. Wouldn't be shocked by that. And plus, Scott Coker, the president of Bellator, was the former president of Strikeforce, which was on Showtime. So, we know that Steven Espinoza and Scott Coker have a good relationship. Wouldn't be surprised at all, and that would be a really interesting move. And Metal Box Jay saying DAZN has Bellator locked in. No, they don't. They share a deal with Paramount Network. They do not have an exclusive deal with Bellator. That is wrong. They do have certain cards exclusive, but they do not have a Bellator exclusive deal. That's not true.
I was just going to say I wasn't sure, but what is DAZN's deal with Bellator? What is the situation there? Like,
I forget the exact particulars, but Viacom owns Bellator. Like, that's another thing. Like, Viacom, the owner of Paramount Network, which is like the main network of Bellator, is also the owner of Bellator. So the owners of CBS, the owners of Showtime, also own Bellator. So it's very likely they can merge in a few years.
Just a quick Google search. On the 26th of June 2018, DAZN announced a 5-year streaming rights deal with Viacom-owned mixed martial arts promotion Bellator, which began Bellator 206 on 29th of September, and also includes US and all other regions served by DAZN.
Streaming rights, not TV rights.
5-year streaming rights deal.
So TV rights, Showtime is right up that alley. Yeah. But anyways, sorry, digressing back. Wilder Fury is on Fox pay-per-view most likely, per Mike Coppinger. Where does that leave Wilder Ortiz 2? I'm thinking I think Showtime's out of the budget, and they're trying to figure out what they can do. Yeah. And it's very likely we get also a Wilder Ortiz 2 Fox pay-per-view. Would not be surprised.
Yeah, I think so. But very quickly, what about the ESPN portion of the pay-per-view? What
do you mean by that?
How is this going to combine sort of numbers-wise, a joint thing?
So in the U.S., I've told you this before, right? How it would work, right? There's a pay-per-view channel. So, like, I go to 123, and that's HD. I go 124, that's DirecTV.
Would it be the same here, though, do you think?
No, for there, it would be they would try to get...
No. Is that going to be the same in this case, this fight? Because when was the last one? Floyd and Mayweather, right? Joint pay-per-view.
Floyd McGregor, technically, because that would be UFC.
Oh, okay.
And that was also Fox. That was a Fox and Showtime joint pay-per-view. Because remember, the Fox had the prelims, and then it went over to pay-per-view. That was also a Showtime pay-per-view.
I didn't know if...
So that would be the last one, technically.
Right, okay. No, I just didn't know if you could either buy this through ESPN or you could buy this through Fox.
Now,
whether it's one...
If, let's say, you want to stream it, right? Like, if I want to buy off my desktop or, like, whatever... You can probably do options like that. Same with Mayweather McGregor being the example, right? I could go on UFC.com and buy the pay-per-view through them, or Showtime anytime and buy the pay-per-view through them, or go to the pay-per-view channel on my cable box and buy it there, and it's just a single broadcast.
So do you think you're going to get a mixture of commentators, a mixture of analysts, or will it be?
Yes, I do.
Do their own coverage of.
Nope. I think you will see a mixture, and they were probably all split the broadcast feed. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see like a Max Kellerman, Andre Ward, some of those guys be in the mixed here. Maybe a Tim Bradley too, because he's obviously a huge like top ranked company man. Unfortunately, even though I don't think
Christina Poncher in there.
And for Fox, God, actually, who would I want for Fox? Like, no. Oh my God, the ESPN commentary team's like drastically better than the Fox team. God.
Lennox Lewis.
No. I wouldn't mind Goosen. I wouldn't mind Joe Goosen. He's decent.
Yeah, I've heard some good things regarding Goosen.
He's good. He's good. Like when he's talking about just the technical side of the game, he's not entertaining at all. So you need someone entertaining with him. So, God, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how they figure out the broadcast team for that one. Because plus there's gonna be like the A team and then the B team. You know, there's gonna be the team that's by the desk and then the team by the ring. So, just curious. Gary's and the ESPN team is not terrible. It's not terrible, but it's not great. I'll say that. It's not great. Like, I would say this. The ESPN team has never had a single moment where I go, yeah, I'm going to put that into our intro, right? Like, they've had no, like, quotable moments ever on their broadcast. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but in my mind, it's a bad thing. Anyways, moving on. Unless, Rob, you have anything else to say?
No, let's get some actual clarity on the top end of this division. You know, is Joshua Ruiz happening in Saudi Arabia on December the 7th, or is Wilder fighting Ortiz anytime soon? Are we going to get an announcement? You know, let's just have some things actually locked in. We know it's happening. Everyone's on board, and you know, things can start making sense again. You know, sort of, we can plan the route forward and see what's happening.
Agreed. Moving on, Mike Coppinger saying Eddie Hearn and Triple G will work together moving forward, sources tell The Athletic. And an announcement of the partnership will be made this week at the Golovkin-Sergey Derevchenko presser in New York. The October 5th middleweight title fight at MSG will be streamed by DAZN. And Jake Donovan put out a good article here on Boxing Scene about how the deal's like pretty much almost done, blah, blah. They're going to announce everything this week. Digressing. So, Triple G, Eddie Hearn, partnering up. Rob.
Makes sense. It's kind of been happening anyway to a point. I think Eddie's helped fill out the last Triple G card with Steve Rolls. I think he put some matchroom fighters on there because this was, I think, the DAZN deal with Triple G was Triple G Promotions, and it was all about his stable, which I think is pretty bare at the moment.
Yep.
But his idea is to grow his own promotional company, but he kind of can't fill a card at the moment. So, this makes sense. So I don't know if we're going to get the generic Matchroom post with welcome to Matchroom and then the Triple G and everything. If it's that, or if it's some other sort of more a clear sort of representation of them working together, or if it's actually Triple G is now a Matchroom fighter.
I like your distinction there. Whether this is a like co-promotional deal in a sense, like a long-term co-promotional deal with Triple G Promotions and Matchroom Promotions, or is it Triple G is now a Matchroom fighter? Those are two very different things.
Yeah, that he would bring his own promotional sort of label with it. You know, I think we had Deontay Bomb Squad Promotions with the Fury. You know, it's
but what I'm talking about is more of a like. I'll put in this context, like AJ Boxing, which is its own promotional company, right?
Manager.
Is it a manager? Okay, then reversing back to the Wilder example, then okay. Wilder and his Bomb Squad Promotions doesn't have a long-term co-promotional deal with another promoter.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For example, Frank Warren, like his deal with ESPN, I think is separate than Top Rank. Like there's no long-term co-promotional deal with Frank Warren and Bob Arum. They just work under the same umbrella. I don't know if this is Triple G and Triple G Promotions being a fighter under Matchroom, or Triple G Promotions and Matchroom Promotions are co-promoting going long term, and there's a deal long term to co-promote Eastern European cards, whatever that may be. Because obviously, I know Eddie's invested a lot into Eastern European names coming out of the amateur system as well. I can see Triple G attaching himself to that, just being a figurehead of that in some aspect. It'd just be interesting to see the dynamic of what this partnership is. But let's just say just a plain the run-the-mill fighter deal, right? Like now Triple G is a Matchroom fighter. Obviously, there's a lot of names under the Matchroom umbrella, aka under the DAZN umbrella now, that we all sort of linked up with Triple G, but now just probably make it easier to fight Triple G. Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, Demetrius Andrade, all those fights are seemingly far easier to be made now because all these guys are under the same sort of banner of Matchroom.
Yeah, and I think they were kind of easy before anyway, with it being
they were
DAZN network-wise. But now, if it's, like you say, Triple G is a Matchroom fighter, that's that other little hurdle that possibly could be an issue sort of dealt with, So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. And like you say, it appears we're going to get a press conference this week around the Derevchenko fight, which obviously looks to be done. Triple G tweeted out sort of rest is over, or time to get back to work kind of thing. Like, so he's obviously, in his mind, it's done. Time to hit the gym. I've got a fight date. I've got an opponent and a world title to go and fight for. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Just whether it, like you say, it's a fighter deal or just a promotional link up or what. But I'm guessing it's. Well, I don't know what I'm guessing. I'll just wait and see what the announcement is. I've got visions of a welcome to Matchroom Triple G. I don't know, but yeah, fighters getting snapped up. And just in case you missed it, there's a new thing in the one-on-one chat as well. By the way,
is it super big? Like we need to go to right now?
Well, yeah. As we're on the topic of Matchroom.
Hold on. Oh, whoa. Okay. Hold on, everyone. Let me get the breaking news soundbite and everything. I get all fancy here. Rob, talk for a second. Talk about Triple G being awesome and how Matchroom. Talk about how Matchroom is the more successful promoter now because they have Triple G.
No, I'll talk about that. My opinion, Triple G is just made. I mean, Derevchenko is made for Triple G. So Eddie Hearn / DAZN keeping that middleweight division kind of on lockdown anyway. So yeah, don't forget, hit that thumbs up, share the show, all the usual stuff. Everyone in the chat, keep telling people we're here.
Yes, and Skype Mixed Combat Radio. Call in. Blog Talk's not working. Skype Mixed Combat Radio, and yeah. See if that works. Let's go to this breaking news. Okay, Rob. You gonna try to pronounce this name? Manuk?
Let me, yeah, Manuk.
Yeah, Manuk. The homie Manuk from LA Times and The Guardian, and like Al Jazeera and like a bunch of outlets. Developing free agent Mike Garcia has been weighing offers from Heyman, Arum, De La Hoya, and Hearn for his new promotional deal. His brother and trainer Robert Garcia told me in an interview. Robert said Matchroom's offer is, quote, huge. Mikey also likely to return at 140. Rob.
Yes.
I feel like that obviously it's news, but like it's not really like news in my mind. Like we knew that he was getting offers from all these people. That's not news. Maybe the fact that Matchroom's offer is huge and that was the one that Robert Garcia stated was the one that was huge is news, but that really isn't news to I think anyone that has been following negotiations in the last like year.
Last we heard, Cop said they were like in advanced talks with Matchroom, right? For site, something like that.
But like also like the fact that Matchroom has the biggest offer, like that's not shocking. Like Matchroom.
No, I think it was the biggest offer to Triple G. I mean, DAZN wise.
Yeah. But Matchroom DAZN, it's going to be connected at this point.
Yeah, it's from the $1 billion contract, right? The Eddie and the $1 billion man or whatever. But yeah, interesting. But I kind of felt that Hooker losing was kind of a issue that Mikey might go, do you know what? If Hooker would have won, you probably would have seen me. But I don't know. Look, it's fighters are money. Fighters are money, right? So, but potentially, Josh Taylor, the rumors are that he's going to sign with Matchroom after the World Boxing Super Series. If he comes out of that, after, with a win over Prograis and some titles, there you go. There's a big fight there instantly for Mikey or, for Josh Taylor, both joining up.
And we're going to talk about Prograis update with this case right after this.
Did I slip? Did I let it out the bag? Oh, did I fuck the suspense up, right?
Whatever, Rob.
We don't even know anyway. Although, for me, the back and forth with Ludabella was much more entertaining than the actual topic. But
it was. Actually, it could have been better. Like, Josh Taylor's like comebacks, I thought were like, all right.
Yeah, Ludabella with the tartan baby.
That was good. That was.
Yeah.
Josh Taylor just too British. He was too Scottish with his comebacks. Like, I couldn't understand half of what he was saying.
You can't be too Scottish. That's not a problem. But yeah, Mikey Garcia. Let's just I guess wait and see. I guess he's gonna have to make a decision soon. You know, Spence is lined up the fight. Mikey was in that same last fight, so I guess he must be due a fight date pretty soon. So
I'll be honest.
If it's a welcome to Matchstream / DAZN, don't get people's hopes up that it's of any great shakes.
Like, the best case would be Maurice Hooker, but he just lost. Like, I don't want to see Maurice Hooker versus Mike Garcia now. And the best case scenario would be Josh Taylor beating Prograis. All right, best case scenario if Mikey goes to Matchroom would be if they get Josh Taylor and he wins the tournament. But if Josh Taylor loses the tournament and goes to Matchroom, it's sort of the same case of like I don't want to see this fight. Like, it doesn't matter to me.
I don't know. I'd still want to see it. I think.
I mean,
whoever loses Taylor Prograis, I don't think they've taken a massive step back in some kind of way, because I think it's going to be a very tight fight. So it could just be.
I'll be honest. I think Mikey could ignore having a tune-up fight and fight the best 140-pounder right now and win. The unfortunate part is that the best 140-pounder right now is Jose Ramirez, and it's his best friend, and like that's just not going to happen. So,
but we'll get to that news. Maybe he can fight.
I still think maybe
the old guy.
I think Mikey, a guy that's already waited out parts of his career, he might just wait out another 6 months until the 140-pound thing shakes out. Because
I think he's gonna.
I think that
don't leave that money on the table. If it is, if his brother's saying it's huge, I don't see him going. Yeah, I'll sit back and wait and see. And
absolutely. Because like again, like let's say Prograis wins, and then Prograis goes to Top Rank. And then Mikey wants to go over there. I mean, I guarantee you, if let's say in this hypothetical world where Top Rank gets Prograis who wins the tournament, I think they're going to offer Mikey the bag.
How likely do you see, given the history, we've just seen DAZN and ESPN work together, Top Rank and Matchroom.
Mm-hmm.
But does that happen with a Mikey Garcia on DAZN? Does Bob go, yeah, we'll work together and make a Mikey Garcia fight with, say, Prograis joins?
Yeah, because it can't be Ramirez,
Yeah. Do you see Bob saying, yeah, we can work together on that one as well? Or is there history with Mikey? Even though they've obviously had a meeting recently.
Yeah, no, I actually, if you asked me before I saw them together,
you'd be like, nah.
I would say nah, but it's different now. And also the fact that they sent Ramirez over, like that was shocking. The A side went over to the B side's network in town. That almost never happens.
But doesn't that show faith in your fighters? I think that's great.
100%.
100% think you're going to go over there and bring his title back over here. If there was any doubt, I don't know whether that fight would have got made.
And Loma Campbell, that's on ESPN, right?
Yeah, of course.
ESPN Plus, right?
Yeah, yes. But this is where Bob's made a mistake.
I wonder how much of that was a trade. Because, like, again, like, we know this in music. Like, artists will trade features for, like, album cuts, right? Like, I have an album coming out, you have an album coming out. I want you to be featured on my album. Okay, we'll trade. I'll go feature on your album. You know, musicians do that. I wonder if this was, like, a trade of, like, hey, I'll send Ramirez over, but we get Loma Campbell.
Well, Ramirez was apparently got $4 million for that fight. I don't know. As a promoter, you can't say no. You're not doing that. Well, even though Leonard Ellaby seems to be doing that, but you say it's a trade, but it's like it's also on Sky Matchroom with a promoter, just like Matchroom with a promoter for Hooker. I don't know. Matchroom have been lead promoter for those two fights. I know we've sent a fighter over there. and we're sending a fighter over to the UK. I don't think. See,
I'm talking about networks. I'm purely talking about networks here.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about maybe lead promoter because obviously Loma Campbell's in the UK, so therefore Matchroom has to take up most of the effort of promoting that card because it's in the UK. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about purely networks here. Sending the fighter over to the other network. That's purely what I'm talking about here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe then. Yeah, maybe it is. You do that one, we'll do this one, or
I just thinking about that going forward. Like what would be the trade then if Mikey Prograis fight has to be across networks, or Mikey Taylor fight has to be across network? Like, just curious about that going forward. But digressing, because we kind of talked about it already. Prograis World Boxing Super Series in talks to resolve the lawsuit. Lou DiBella saying we always wanted to resolve this, and right now that is what we are attempting to do. Regis doesn't want to sit out. He wants to win the tournament. This article is pretty long by Dan Rayfield. I don't care to read the whole thing, but it looks like they're trying to figure things out, which is not that shocking. But hey, man, let's just get this fight over with. Let's just get this happening. October 5th, Manchester. That was like a date that was talked about for a while. Might be too short of a time window now. Maybe push back to November. I don't care where it's at. Just put it somewhere.
I saw another article saying maybe like the October 20 something.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I think 28th or something like that. But no, I'm just glad there's even talks of it. Because it sounded like they were talking about lawsuits and it's that and the other. But yet again, another Lou DiBella fighter threatening to leave, and looks like maybe he might stay and get this done, which I hope, because it's potentially fight of the year.
Well, what do you think about that? I've seen people like, only Lou DiBella fighters have been having issues with World Boxing Super Series. Do you think?
I don't think Donaire is a Lou DiBella fighter, right?
That's a good point.
Although he only threatened because they hadn't done a date yet. I don't think it was money wise, was it? It was something about there's no date. I don't know what's happening. I haven't got a date yet. When's the final?
And don't we always hear people say oh yeah, and other fighters are telling us that they aren't getting paid either. Like we did hear that as well, right? Like we didn't.
Who else was it? I can't even remember now.
I know Branchik was one. Right, yep. Obviously that was pretty big this year. I remember last season.
Someone in the chat, potential lunatic, will say.
Yeah, or like Leonard, like you have like an encyclopedic knowledge of every negotiation.
Metal Box J, I believe the rumor for Prograis Taylor, if it happens, will be London, the O2 Arena. Possible, although I did see Manchester Arena as well.
Would Manchester be the better place because it's closer to Scotland for like?
I
Taylor
guess,
fans?
yeah, but does that make it more of a look? London and Manchester, that's only another 2.5 hours, 3 hours, maybe. So it's not like Scottish people are going to go, fuck that. It's 2 more hours or 3 more hours.
Donaire is a Schaefer fighter who is linked with the World Boxing Super Series. So,
yeah.
Anyways, let's move on. Dan Rayfield.
Cold feet, that was all.
Dan Rayfield reporting, and also stitching back to Jose Ramirez, who we were talking about, said the WBC on Monday ordered the free negotiation period to begin for the fight between unified junior welterweight world titleist Jose Ramirez and mandatory challenger Victor Postal. Not mad with it. In its letter to both camps, WBC also said that if they do not make a deal, a purse bid is scheduled for September 20th at the WBC offices in Mexico City. However, Ramirez, who unified belts by 6-round knockout of Maurice Hooker on July 27th, also has a WBO mandatory due against Jack Catterall. And there will be nothing from the Ramirez team or promoter Top Rank on which fight they plan to pursue first. Either way, Top Rank plans for Ramirez to make a mandatory title defense in November or December. Rob, it seems like there's no real hey, it has to be this one first. It seems like there could be some, if Top Rank and Ramirez went to the WBC and said, hey, we're going to fight good old Jack first, I think the WBC would say no problem. So which one would he want first? I mean,
well, first of all, if you look at the WBC rankings for 140, Postal is number 2. So, do you want to know who's number 1 in the WBC rankings?
Dylan White.
Not for fucking heavyweight. I mean, not for like.
But that's come
how
on.
long have you been there?
But come on.
No, it's actually Josh Taylor because he's the WBC silver belt holder. Even though he's the IBF champion, he's actually #1 in the WBC. So
that's cool.
Shenanigans from the WBC again. No, I'm only joking. Who do I want to see? I don't really want to see. I'd see Jack Catterall get his shot over Victor Postal, to be honest.
Biased.
Yes. You don't have to whisper it. I am biased.
Has Postal fought since the Taylor loss? I'm assuming he has, and we just haven't seen it. Right?
Yeah, let me quickly. He's got another W, I think, maybe even 2.
Because that might change my opinion about which fight I want to see first. Because Catterall has sort of been on a little run lately. I wouldn't mind him getting a shot, especially if Postal hasn't been doing much. Victor
Postal has got 2 wins since the Josh Taylor fight
against anyone we know.
Siar Ozgul, who was 14 on what that was on a World Boxing Super Series card, I believe.
That's right. Yeah. I remember that fight.
It was on Josh Taylor's undercard, I think.
Yep.
Inoue and that, yeah. And then Mohammed Mimoun. Yeah, him.
I'll take Jack Catterall. Let's go with the undefeated guy first, and then maybe a Postal defense first quarter or first half of next year. I'll take that.
Oh, that should have been a highlight. How did he win that fight? Because that was on the Robert Easter Bartholomew fight card, his last win. That's why we can't remember it.
I remember that he fought on that card, and I was like, hey, Postal on a Showtime card.
Wow. Can't wait for the main event.
That was weird. I really liked the main event, too, and then the card was just so bad. Oh, my God.
Awful. And they were on about, we're going to run it straight back. Everyone went, fucking don't put it on TV then. Jesus Christ. Showtime with another great fight of the year contender. I'm only joking. Steven, all right.
Moving on to a funny topic, and then we're going to get to fights this weekend. Bob Arum saying, obviously because he's an expert in this field, and plus he is the former promoter of Andy Ruiz, saying Andy Ruiz has, quote, stupid Eddie Hearn by the balls.
By the balls.
And look, first off, this is hilarious to me on like a number of levels because it's Bob Arum talking about Andy Ruiz. That's hilarious. Andy Ruiz he's actually probably right that Andy Ruiz has Eddie Hearn somewhat by the balls. Yeah, I said it. Oh, gunshots were low. Nah, just kidding. Eddie Hearn actually has a contract, so I mean, it's pretty difficult to go around that. But I mean, I love it because he called him stupid. I mean, you know me, Rob. That's one of my favorite words in the world. So like, we're gonna make that topic of the show, absolutely. So, Rob, does Andy Ruiz have, quote, stupid Eddie Hearn by the balls?
I don't know. What were his words? Something like, you don't announce something before you get their name on the contract or something. But from what we're told, it is signed and his name is on there. This whole...
hold on. I'll read it. Hold on. I should have done dramatic reading for this. You're right. Hold on.
Or clown music.
I think Eddie Hearn... Oh, let me show you guys at the same time. I think Eddie Hearn showed how stupid he is in making the announcement that the fight was in Saudi Arabia before that he signed Ruiz to a contract. Now Ruiz has him by the balls. Arum explained to Villain Phi, whatever. Ruiz is in a great position because Hearn went out on a limb and announced the venue in Saudi Arabia. Ruiz, one country in the world he doesn't have to go to. If he doesn't want is Saudi Arabia. Weirdly worded, because his own government said you're not safe there. If Arum were still promoting Ruiz, he would still be willing to accept the location of Saudi Arabia, but only if Ruiz received, quote, a lot more money than he's getting.
Stupid Eddie Hearn can at least string a fucking coherent sentence together,
that was rough in a couple places. Hopefully that's just like an error from like the writer like transcribing it, but digressing.
Was that Jake?
No, it was the Boxing Clever guy that just like
Boxing Clever
that just copies other people's news and writes articles about it on boxing.
A lot of the time watches the interviews and
put
interviews into words.
I wish we knew his name. You know, But hey, that's beside the point.
Maybe it's at Boxing Clever. By the way, there's another thing in the one-on-one chat. If you wanted to look, it's not.
Well, again, you can talk about Eddie Hearn being stupid. Go for it.
I can't. How can I talk about that?
Whoa. Okay. This is breaking news. Cool.
Sort of. It's very cloudy.
Keep talking. Hey, I want your opinion about Eddie Hearn.
Well, I don't know because
stupid.
Bob's saying, you've announced it's Saudi Arabia before you get Andy's name on a contract, but we're being told he's signed it. He's signed. And is there another contract? What is this contract for this fight? Even though apparently he signed the first contract, I don't know. I'm very confused on the whole thing. I'm just going to wait and see. That Andy gets the little bit of money that he, extra money, and he's suddenly happy to go to Saudi Arabia, even though the sad news is that Floyd's come out and said it was an old video and that he's not going to Saudi Arabia, unfortunately, people. So I do apologize for getting your hopes up yesterday.
Let's get to the breaking news. I mean, we knew somewhat about this, but we get more concrete information about what's happening with Dimitri Bivol, which people do want to know about as being one of the top names in the light heavyweight division. Light heavyweight world titleist Dimitri Bivol, per Dan Rayfield, of Russia, is weighing offers from Matchroom Boxing promoter Eddie Hearn, as well as PBC. Manager Vadim Kornilov told ESPN on Monday. Kornilov said he has an offer from Hearn for Bivol, who is a broadcast-free agent, to face an opponent to be determined on October 12th on DAZN. And the co-feature former undisputed cruiserweight champion Alexander Usyk's heavyweight debut. If they go in on that direction, it would be Bivol's second fight in a row with Hearn and DAZN. But Kornilov also said PBC is interested in signing Bivol, who has made 5 title defenses, to a deal that would begin with a fight on Fox in the fall, also against an opponent to be determined. Okay. This is going to be interesting because I don't know if either route is the right route, to be honest.
Provided he stays at 175, ESPN is the choice, right?
Yeah, it's the clear numbers.
Going down to 168, there's the Callum Smith fight. There's, which he's talked about, because he doesn't look a huge light heavyweight to me.
Mm-hmm.
So whether he's said numerous times he can do 168. So obviously there's Caleb, and things like that over on that side.
So
as well.
I think we can both agree then easily that at 175, I think either deal is not the right deal. ESPN is the right move for Bivol. All the big names are over there, and even though it'd be cool to fight on the undercard like an Usyk, another Eastern European name, but if there's no big names at 175 over there on that side for you, there's no point in going over there. However, 168, there's the debate again of what side of the street is better. Is it the David Benavidez, Caleb Plant side, or the Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders side? Because that's the two sides that are pretty equal right now. And maybe you can say that PBC has more of a, the bottom half of top 10 names and top 15 names maybe, the Matchroom. But in terms of the champions, the top 4 in the division, they got them split up evenly. Gilberto Ramirez moved up. So, and again, an ESPN name. So, what route would be better for him then? Is it Caleb Plant, David Benavidez, or is it Callum Smith and Billy Joe Saunders? I think there's an argument for either one. If that's where he goes, then either case I'm okay with, because then there's names, there's big names there for him. But at 175, ESPN, please, Bivol. There are so many big names over there.
Well, it's the division basically, right?
Yeah, Beterbiev, Vajdic, Kovalev, Yard, everyone's over there that is of note in that division.
Mm-hmm. So just a strange one, because I thought we kind of knew he was a network free agent, but I thought there was some deal with Eddie Hearn. Maybe it was just fight by fight, or not a 3-fight deal, or this, that, and the other. But I can't quite remember the story. Or am I thinking there was some kind of Bivol moving away from the DAZN deal? Or I don't know.
It was because
Beterbiev went the other way, kind of thing.
We had that time where we had Bivol and Beterbiev all on DAZN, and hey man,
Here we go.
ESPN versus the Zone. Here we go at light heavyweight. This is gonna be an interesting battle. And then all of a sudden, ESPN got everyone, and then Bivol was like, "Hey, I'm a free agent, guys. Can I get an offer too, please?"
Where did the light heavyweights go?
It's weird that we're not hearing an ESPN offer though. Is that shocking? Like the fact that he is a free agent, why isn't ESPN reaching out?
Yeah, I don't know, because if he's, I know some people feel Bivol's the best of the lot, but if you sign him, it doesn't matter. You've still got all the bouts. It's not like, oh, not having him come over and take all the bout. Well, if you've signed him, he's your guy anyway. So I don't know. Very strange.
Matthew Valentine, do you respond to questions? If they're good questions.
Or if super chats.
Or the super chats, obviously. Super chats we respond to. But, I mean, if you're just, like, writing the chat, we're not going to respond to everyone in the chat because we have to get through all the topics, get through everything in the show. If you have a great question that's on the topic of what we're discussing, then, yeah, we can obviously respond to it, if it expands the conversation. Or call in. Then we do have a phone line, but the phone line's down right now. Shout out to Blog Talk. But call in Skype. Mixed Combat Radio on Skype. Let's move on. Some of the fights this weekend. Sergey Kovalev, speaking of light heavyweights, versus Anthony Yard, which kind of snuck past everyone in its fight week. It's 5 days away now.
There's still people here believing that it's not even going to happen. There's been such little promotion. There's been like
Yard's in town, guys. Like, dude, you're not like BT was interviewing him in the airport.
No, I know. But before that, we've had basically zero push for this. It's like all the money's in the Fury Wallin promotion.
Makes no sense.
It's strange, but yeah, no, it's Rocky IV kind of deal going on. I don't know. We'll see.
But let's talk about the fight, Kovalev Yard. I mean, the in-ring sort of technical thing that I've noticed is that Anthony Yard is a guy that works a Philly shell, but doesn't have great footwork. I can even say that he doesn't really have the greatest head movement as well. So, like, his entire defense isn't really that great. Like, his bread and butter, he's not even that great at. So, like, Kovalev, a guy with a fantastic jab, a guy with fantastic ability to find his range, to unleash punishment at distance, I think is going to keep Yard, I think the smaller man in terms of height and in reach, at bay. I think he's going to keep him basically wherever he wants him. Like I can see Kovalev controlling this fight with the jab and the right hand finding its home in like rounds 2, 3, and 4 and finishing him. Absolutely. Matthew Valentine with the $1 super chat. Thank you, Matthew. Saying
with no question.
With no question, but he did say the question after it, saying did Gary Russell Jr. sign with Matchroom? Not that we know of.
No, I think that maybe died down, and I think Eddie said his commitment to fighting more than once a year was an issue.
It's funny. So I just don't see where Yard finds success. The only way he can find success is that he somehow gets around that jab, doesn't eat the right hand, and is able to unload his counters. But I don't think Yard's particularly that well at it. And on top of that, Yard at times never really like sticks to a game plan. Like Yard just kind of goes in there and kind of freestyles it. You know what I mean? Like that's what he does. You need a game plan with Sergey Kovalev. However, if Yard somehow gets under that jab, somehow misses the right hand, and is able to start unloading combinations to the body, we know that Kovalev is susceptible to that. That could be successful, but he has to get past so much to get to that. I don't see Yard finding success in this fight, and I see him getting knocked out within 6 rounds.
Oh. Yeah, look.
He's completely untested as well.
Potentially, obviously experience could be a major factor in this. The fact Yard's got 12 amateur fights, and then a 20 fight career?
18.
18, okay. 18 professional fights. So, how many fights has Kovalev got total as a pro?
With his biggest name being God. Oh my God. No, he didn't beat Charles Martin. No one. No one's of note here. He hasn't fought a single top 15, top 20, top 30, top 40 opponent in the world. Not once. So, no. Kovalev should win this one handily.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, it's the year of the upset, but this would be quite. I mean, what's the betting lines on this? I don't think it's horrific.
Really?
I don't think so. If I
Shocking.
remember, let me.
Shocked by that.
I'll bring it up, but yeah, I think experience will show. I just find it hard. I think he doesn't need to be at distance or in close. It's going to be. I don't know. It's going to be a tricky one to overcome, but I'm sure they will have some kind of game plan. But it's what happens if that isn't working. Anthony to win the fight. I'm going to have to convert this 6-4. So it's going to be like a plus 180, something like that. Let me get this up.
Really?
Yep. Odds convert. Let me just get this because I have to do it for you guys over there.
Wow.
Fraction.
I am shocked.
6-4. Oh, no, American plus 150.
What?
He's a plus 150.
That's almost even money.
He's not even a 2-1 underdog.
I wonder what the odds were when the lines open. Because I'm expecting a lot of UK fans bet money on Yard and the lines moved. They had to. Because there's no way the line opened up as a Yard as a even money fight. Like that, there's no way. That's impossible.
And Kovalev is a minus 175.
Oh my, that hurts my head, guys.
Honestly, when it came out, Yard was like a plus. What was it 9-4? So what would that be? Like a 5-2 would be a 250. So yeah, around almost like a 3-1 when it opened up.
Even that's too close.
I know.
Kovalev, look, guys, we all know that I don't like Kovalev. I think he's a kind of like a racist dirtbag. And plus, he is like in the middle of a court case for like violence towards women. So fuck him. However, the guy did just have his best career performance against Eloy Alvarez in the rematch, where he again looked his career best. Where it all looked like you can make an argument that Kovalev had never looked that technically good in a fight ever, even in the fight with Andre Ward in the first one. Like, his game went to another level against Eloy Alvarez in the rematch. And now people think Yard, a guy that has no amateur experience, a guy that has 18 fights against no one, is going to beat him? That makes me want to throw up in my mouth.
Let's find out how good the bookies are at the end of this fight. But you're going with he's going to get knocked out within 6 rounds.
Yeah. So your prediction, Rob?
I feel we might see a similar performance I think it's going to be a 12-round decision for Kovalev. I think it'll go to decision. Sorry if you're doing a live fight chat, but that's how I feel.
God.
What time's this on in America?
What time is it on in the UK?
I don't know. That's why if you told me your answer, I'd know my answer.
I don't know what time it's on.
Someone in the chat, what time's this on?
Leonard, Lunatic, let us know.
Super producers.
I would assume it would be earlier in the day for you guys, right? Because it would have to be.
What's the time difference? Let's have a look.
What's the time difference between you guys and Russia?
Time in Russia.
What part of Russia?
Oh, I don't know.
Because Russia is like 11 different time zones.
They are 3 hours ahead of us right now. I think it's
Moscow.
That is, yeah, Moscow, yeah.
All right.
But
I know the fight's on Moscow, but let's just go after that.
If it's in that one, it's 12 hours ahead, or this one's 7 hours ahead. Fucking hell.
Type in CH, because I'm not going to try to say it, right? CHEL.
Whoa. CHEL.
YA.
Wait. See, that was Chablinsk?
Yes.
Oh, it's so it's 8 minutes past 3 a.m. there right now. So it says 5 hour plus 5.
It's a 12-hour difference for us. Wow. Okay. So coverage starts at 5 p.m. UK time on BT Sport. That's when it starts. That's when the prelims start. Man.
You're getting I think you're getting the main event and the co-main.
And we're probably going to be getting it around
10:30 in the morning.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe 11. It's gonna be interesting. I don't know. But digressing, guys. We're gonna do a live fight chat. I promise. We're gonna do something for you. Don't worry about it. Alexei Papin, undefeated cruiserweight against Alunga Makabu. I love this cruiserweight fight. Gonna be a true test for Papin. Andre Storkin, Evgeny Ramanov. A ton of Eastern European, Russian prospects on this card. You guys should pay attention to. Guys with a ton of amateur experience. Moving on, Robin, let's see if anything else to say about the card.
No, we can move on.
Kosei Tanaka versus Jonathan Gonzalez. Also this weekend, you're going to have to find a stream for it. It's happening in Japan. No one really of note on that card except for maybe one or two undefeated young prospects in Japan. But Kosei Tanaka is a pound-for-pound talent facing I think, is it mandatory or like a voluntary, like a tune-up? Somebody that's not really on his level, but it's Kosei Tanaka, so got to pay attention to that. Brandon Figueroa will be fighting on Fox Sports 1 this weekend on Saturday as well against Javier Chacon, Darwin Price on the card, Stephen Fulton. I'm a huge Stephen Fulton fan. Great super bantamweight. Ton of other undefeated guys that I don't know that I'm assuming are from the area in Texas. So if they have those fights, watch them. Rob, I'm just going to move on and keep going, running down this list. If we have no callers, guys, we're going to run out of here because I'm hungry. John Real Casamora versus Cesar Ramirez is also this weekend on Saturday for the interim WBO bantamweight belt. And a bunch of little minor cards to go through. A Ring TV card on August 22nd in Indio, California. Obviously the Showtime card on Friday with Vladimir Shishkin versus DeAndre Ware. Jaron Enos on the card. Shojin Ergashev on the card. A bunch of actual decent prospects and decent top 20 guys on this card. A UFC Fight Pass card on Friday as well with Miguel Bertrand Jr., Gary O'Sullivan's on the card. What else? Obviously, we have the DAZN card with Ron Francisco Estrada facing his mandatory. Is it mandatory or just a voluntary tune-up?
Bierman, is he the mandatory?
I don't know.
I can't remember, actually.
I can't remember either, but he's obviously main eventing in Mexico. Filip Hrgovic on the card, Liam Smith on the card, Jonah Carroll on the card. Decent undercard. I don't know why Liam Smith and Jonah Carroll and Filip Hrgovic are fighting in Mexico, though. Makes zero sense.
But you're 3 hours away, not too late to get that credential, Matt. I'm sure it won't be oversubscribed. You'll get the nod.
I'm good. Again, really bad move by Matron to put 3 European names. 2 of them are known commodities in the UK. One of them is an Eastern European amateur prodigy. Put him in Mexico. Yes.
One of them wants to fight Munguia again, so go to his home country and
that doesn't. And what's he gonna say? A bunch of English shit, and all the people there are gonna be like, "Okay, what's this gringo saying?" You know, it makes zero sense. Liam Smith should be made
Munguia fight again, and they're like, "Okay."
That's a really good Liam Smith impersonation, man. I like it.
It's just scab. It was generic scabs.
Yeah, but it's again so good an impersonation.
Rocky Field is more with every word. It's like he's
Liam Smith should be main eventing in the UK. Jonah Carroll should be an undercard fighter in the UK. Filip Hrgovic should be undercard of Usyk in Chicago or something. If you're gonna have him be in the US or in the North American market, have him be an Usyk undercard. If not, maybe the undercard of Joshua. Something like that. That's what I would do. But anyways, digressing from that point, I think that's it for the weekend. Oh, there's also a UFC Fight Pass card on Saturday as well in Alpine, California. No idea where that is. And a bunch of names I don't know. So, yes. James Kirkland's fighting an untelevised card in Austin, Texas, by the way. Gary, go to that. Oh, and Vic Saludar in Puerto Rico, Mexico. That's it. That's all the fights this weekend.
How do you know not somewhere in your own place? That's weird.
What?
How do you not know where somewhere is in your own?
Alpine? I have no idea where the city of Alpine, California is.
Near the mountains?
The size of California is like the size of the UK, bro. Like you tell
Alright.
me you know where every single town, nook, and cranny is in the UK.
You think Alpine's a nook or a cranny?
I would assume so.
So therefore, doesn't that mean most of the towns in California are probably bigger than the towns in the UK?
No, not really, actually.
I don't know.
Because we have a lower population in the UK. We're probably the same size, but a lower population. We're more densely populated.
It was just a reason for me to get on you for not knowing shit.
Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for today, it seems. No Gary. No Gary call.
Well, you know, sometimes you jump on these shows and you hope for the best, and there you go. It happened.
Anyways, guys, find me, Matt.
Wow.
What? No, sorry.
Gary doesn't want to talk about Triple G, you know, or even his boy Brandon. Some Texan you are.
Thank you, Lunatic, for Googling where Alpine is, and Alpine's in the mountains near San Diego. It's just Googled. That's probably why I don't know where Alpine is, because I don't drive down the mountains near San Diego ever.
Sounds nice. A beautiful spot.
Probably isn't. If it's by Temecula, it's not. It's not nice.
Come on, let it go. Jesus, Elsa.
Anyways, guys, have a great day, great night, great evening, wherever you are. Find me, Matt Hunter, MCR, all platforms, patreon.com/MixComboRadio to help support the channel. Rob.
UK Rob MCR, Instagram and Twitter. I think I hit like 500 Twitter followers. So yeah, shout out to me. I'm growing quicker than the show.
That tweet to follow ratio, man.
Yeah, I got to check that out and see if I'm performing good enough. Remind me never to tweet anything fucking UFC just for your buddy fucking Anthony Walker. Jesus.
Well, you just happened to latch onto a viral tweet, man.
Well, you know, he said what he said, so I found the clip of him saying it, so I put it in under it. Damn, I'm never doing that again. I need to figure out how to mute entire topics. I don't want that on my feed anymore. But yeah, everybody hit the thumbs up, share the show. Matt's going to upload this as soon as possible for the podcast feed. I sometimes get an alert for a show that we done like a week ago, and it's just arrived on iTunes.
What do you mean? We're only like one show behind right now, guys. Relax.
That's lucky because we didn't do fuck all last week.
And the show's live. Like, come on. If you wanted to catch the show live, like at ASAP, it's on YouTube. Listen to this on podcast form. Like, hey, want to be more updated on the show being podcast? Go to YouTube and watch the show live, or watch it in the meantime if it's on the podcast feed. It's okay.
Listen on iTunes, and if they do listen on iTunes, you go and leave a 5-star review. Tell Matt, you know, great podcast. Just wish it was updated quicker than it is. But 5 stars, keep it going.
Hey, you podcast listeners, go look at the website and then complain about you guys not being updated.
Yeah, Fu, what's going on? You're also a website content manager. I'm not touching it because I'll change shit.
We just got fire Fu.
I don't know. He'd get really upset. Although,
upset.
Yeah, Fu's good. People like Fu. Like that
jokes, just bands, Fu, don't cry.
I was watching back, I think, one of the shows that he was on just recently, and I think we went, Fu, what do you think? And he's like, huh? He's just happily typing in the chat with the people in the chat. He wasn't even listening to what me and you were saying, talking about, or anything like that. But yeah, thanks everybody. I'll see you on the next one.
Quickly, before we jump off, though, Rob, if I made like a little instructional video on how to upload things to the website, would you do it?
Nah, I won't.
Okay.
I don't even do the IG anymore.
I know you don't.
Fu doesn't either.
No, it's just me now.
Yeah, go for it. You need to flood that. That's how it grows.
So if people want to know why things take forever to get updated and uploaded, it's only me updating and uploading anything.
Yeah, but look, what is it now?
It's only me.
It's like nearly midnight. You're up for another 8 hours straight right now.
Rob, I don't really bitch at you because you get on the show all the time.
Fu, he's coming at you.
Fu, if you, I'll put it this way, not even at Fu. If you can't be on the show, do something else. Like help out a little bit, you know. Fu, and Rob, if you take a day off, you know, just post on IG once. That'd be nice. Bye, guys.
I'll post on IG soon.
Okay, Eddie Hearn.
Keep an eye out for it.
Next week, Monday, you're going to hear an announcement on IG from Rob.
Yep.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. It should be finalized. It should be posted sometime soon. Probably next week. Probably by the weekend. But yeah. You know, as soon as Triple G's a matchroom fighter, I'll put some on the IG.
Have a great day, guys. Peace.
Later.
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
Stay off the weed. You disrespect boxing, you piece of shit?
Everybody's on steroids. The whole UFC, everybody.
Hey, pussy, are you still there?